Sometimes a thing has to die in order for a new grace to arrive. The power comes in knowing that even at the end of a thing, God has the ultimate power to resurrect the dead. Sometimes He is trying to kill things in us as well, and, without letting go, we leave places for the rotten things in our lives to start stinking and get infections. Sometimes, true love is letting them go because they need rest and peace of mind. Our need for them can become their greatest burden. When we allow God and trust God enough to lay the things and people we love into His hands and release them, that's when we show absolute faith and trust in God and love for our husbands, wives, children, loved ones, or friends. Sometimes holding on is selfish. Sometimes holding on is mistrust and proves that subconsciously we don't trust God to do what's best or what's right. Because life is never ending, setting them free just may be the chance of their new life of peace, joy, and happiness. I watched a video recently of a man who was giving his testimony about pulling the life support cord on his wife, after being told by the doctors that she would remain in a comatose state for the remainder of her life. I can imagine how devastating that moment must have been for him and his family. In this man's case, letting his wife go meant he gave her a chance to see God face to face. Nothing he could give her in this lifetime could compare to that. Real love is sacrifice even when our own feelings, emotions, and pain become the burnt offering. Real love sets aside our immediate wants and opens up our eyes to the needs of another. It negates the pursuit of happiness and establishes a foundation of joy and peace through contentment. It teaches us how to live altruistically, evoking the standard of the greater good instead of elevating the walls of imaginary castles and kingdoms of our childhood that can easily be torn down and burned by the fire of life's harsh realities. Real love helps you to stay true to the course when everything inside you wants to abandon the ship of righteousness. The thing that set apart the children of God from those who served dead idols is that, for some reason, God's children had a fearless reaction to death. This truth made their worship powerful and authentic. If they were faced with an option to live their life or let go of it in order to stand for their faith, they freely chose to let go. They understood that even at the point of death, their God was greater. It is the resurrecting power of Christ that will make all the difference in this season. God is trying to show many of us that He has the power to do the impossible. I'm most certain that as people went to the cross and saw Jesus, the same Jesus who performed miracles and raised people from the dead, fed the multitude, and spoke hope and life into every dead situation. As they saw that same Jesus being crucified and His lifeless body being taken down from that cross, hopes and dreams died along with Christ and was carried away to the tomb to be buried. I know without a shadow of a doubt that those first 24 hours had to be the longest, as their minds questioned why, and went through every preceding detail of Jesus' ministry, trying to connect the dots and make sense of what just happened. It seemed like suddenly death had come and nothing was able to defeat it. As they pieced everything together, the fact remained that good or bad Jesus was now dead. But I am learning now through experience in life that truth and fact are two separate entities that can yield to very different outcomes. God always deals in truth, even if the truth contradicts the facts. It may seem like death is the end of a thing, but the truth is, through the resurrection power of Christ, the ability to live beyond the stigma of death is possible. It's a hard lesson to learn, but it is probably one of the most rewarding things to understand. God mends the broken places of our lives when we give Him all the pieces.